Hello, Ronke. Well, this is really nice to see you and have this opportunity to talk to you and hear about your journey of faith. Yes, it's really good, and I'm looking forward to hearing your story. Okay, so you ready for this? Ready for some questions?
Yes, thank you. Fire on.
Okay then. So what was it about Christianity that first caught your attention, or what inspired you? Is there anything in particular? Can you go back to the beginning?
Yeah, well, obviously I'll have to take everybody down memory lane. It started about, 20 years ago now, or even more than that. I was in a boarding school in Nigeria, and I think I was somewhere between 10 and 16 years old. And Christianity is not the religion that I was born into, but it took my fancy because there was a lot of singing twice a week. It was Wednesdays and Sundays, and I loved the singing. And for me, that was an attraction that was something that I thought I wanted to be part of, even if I didn't really know much about the religion at the time. But the singing caught my attention. I still remember some of the songs today, and preparing for this, I actually thought, I still remember some of the words, and that's something that has obviously stayed with me.
So what was it, the singing really that got you really hooked at the beginning?
Yes, it was the singing, but that only lasted a couple of years, and then I moved on. I left secondary school and I went to uni, and a lot of my friends at uni were Christians, and they kept wondering about my faith. And because I wasn't born into Christianity, I kept practicing the faith that I was born into, but I found myself going back and forth. So whenever it suited me, I'd say I'm a Christian, and whenever it didn't suit me, I would say something else. So and my friends kept saying, you need to make a decision, but I just thought, no, I don't need to make a decision. I can keep being whatever I want to be, and I don't want to feel compelled by anybody. But then I had this particular friend that was really adamant, and on a particular night, she gave me a very hard time, and she said, you need to decide what you want to be. Nobody really cares if you are this or you're that. You just need to find what you want to be and be that. Stop riding the fence. And that really got me thinking. I was really upset with her that night. I shouted at her. We were very cross at each other, and she stormed out of my flat at about 1 a.m. in the morning. But it got me thinking, and to be honest, my conscience had been poking me about it. You need to decide what you want to do. Nobody's judging you. If you want to be a Christian, be a Christian. If you want to be what you're used to, be what you're used to, but make a decision. So having a friend that was really dear to me say it to me was hard to hear, but I know she meant it from a good place, and that got me thinking. So I'll say that's when the seed was really planted, that I had to do something about it. And it didn't even take, I didn't do something immediately because I didn't feel ready, but a few years after that, I decided that it was time. And luckily I was in this church in London, and the pastor had made an altar call, and I just thought this was the time for me, and I felt very emotional about it. I couldn't even go to the altar. I had a friend go with me, but I feel that was the moment where I felt, this is the time for me to say, to make the journey to becoming a Christian. Obviously, that's the beginning of many roads ahead, but that for me was the beginning.
Wow, well that's amazing. You had a friend like that, isn't it?
Yes.
We all need a friend like that, don't we?
I hope she knows it. Yeah.
Yeah, we all need that.
Yeah.
So that's that one friend, really.
Yeah, there's
kick-started you.
Yes, that one friend, because I felt that she was a friend and not someone that was just asking me to come to an event at church. She actually wanted me to make a decision. She wasn't inviting me to church. She just wanted me to make any decision and to stick with it. So that really touched me.
So you made that decision?
I did.
And what did you do after that?
And then I moved back so this was all happened kind of in the UK because I was studying in the UK, and then I moved back home to Nigeria because I wanted to go back to law school and all that. And then obviously my parents are not Christians, so I was trying to be a Christian in a household where my parents were not Christians, and so my mom very strict, and she was like, no, you can't do that. So it was a battle on, how do I show up in church on Sunday? What do I say? And again, I was in my early 20s, so I lived at home, and I had to respect her views. So I found a way around it, like most young adults would. So I had a car, so I'd drive my car and say I was going to have my hair done, and then I'd go to church. But I couldn't keep that up for 4 Sundays a week. So, I would do it when I could, and when I couldn't, I wouldn't. But if there was an activity in the middle of the week, I would easily go to that, or after work, or on whatever the day in the week, because it wasn't a Sunday and my mom wouldn't suspect that I was going to church. So that's how I did it. But it didn't really make me commit so hard, because I found that there was an obstacle. I couldn't really go whenever I wanted to. But I think I've come to realize that the relationship with God is more important than all the other things that you do. So if I was in my room praying and you're focusing on the Bible or God's word, that's just as strong as if I was fellowshipping with a group of people in church.
Yes, it just jumped out at me then. I thought telling tales to your mother wouldn't really line up with your newfound Christianity, would it?
No. So I had to respect her as well, and I didn't want to cause any friction at home. You know, my parents are dear to me. I respect them. I love them. They've been such good parents to me. So I had no reason to put up a fight in that respect. You know.
So you found ways of getting to church.
Yes,
that's really good. That's really great to hear. So, from your own experience, how would you inspire others to begin their faith journey?
I would say that do it when you're ready. I have come to realize that God is not a strict head teacher. Sometimes religion teaches us that, you know, you have to do this, that, and it's not like that in the relationship. Once you start the journey on having a relationship with God, He's not strict, and so He accommodates the things that you would think He wouldn't. And I think about myself, I think about God as a friend, and I think about the people that are closest to me in the friendship space, and I think about God in this way, and it really helps me relax when I go to Him, or it makes it easy to have a relationship with Him. Because if I was just talking to a friend about something that was deeply upsetting to me, then, you know, I find comfort in that. So if I take that same energy to God, and it really influenced even naming my son, or Lulu's name means God is a friend, because that's how I think about Him, and that's how I'm able to relate to Him. Because if it's a friend, then it's just like any of my dear friends that I go to in times of trouble or for even a conversation, and I don't have to think about Him as this head teacher or strict parent or father that I cannot relate to. So I would say that, you know, think about God in a way that you feel is relatable to you. So for somebody else it might be a father, or I don't know, a child, whatever. Just think about how you want to connect with Him. So that's one advice I would give someone that's thinking of pursuing Christianity or finding faith with God. Another thing that I would say is don't feel compelled by people or everybody's idea of what you should be doing. I'm not in any competition with anybody, so it gives me confidence that, you know, I'm on my own path, and that is what I need to focus on. I focus on the relationship with God and not what everybody else thinks I should be doing. And also think about who speaks to you. So in my own case, I think about some Christian motivational speakers. I like T.D. Jakes, I like Joel Osteen, Joyce Meyer, and in the early days I used to listen to them a lot. I used to listen to them just to hear about faith stories or messages that I can put that I can use in my daily life, and that got me going, because they are humans just like us and they've had their own journey. So find someone that you connect to. There's someone out there, it might not be any of the three that I've named, but find someone that you connect to and put your energy into it, and hopefully you will find what works for you, and be honest with yourself. You know, I knew deep down that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. I knew it, and nobody knew it. I always put up a front, but I knew it. And I know that everybody has it in them. There's that voice, whatever that voice is, that speaks to you. Listen to it, own it, and do something about it in your own time. God would meet you wherever you are. He's not going to condemn you, whatever your journey is. My journey is quite unique. I don't expect anybody to have my journey, but God has met me where God met me where I was, and with that I have confidence that He will take me where I need to go, and that has just kept me going.
Yeah, as you say, it's your journey. It's no one else's journey.
Yeah, it's
and everybody's got to find their own path.
Yes.
But it's there if you look for it, isn't it? You've got to actually do something rather than sitting passively waiting for it to come to you. It's always good to sort of take that first step, as they say, isn't it? And I love it that you called your little boy that name, and friend of God. That's just lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
A bit of a difficult question here, but it's I got. Have you got any examples of how you've been able to put your faith into action? And is it up to Christians to help other Christians, you know?
Let's take the first question first. Examples. I remember a time, a long time ago now, when I was doing a particular exam, a very important exam that I felt like I had to do well in. And for some reasons, I made a very serious mistake on the day of the exam. And it was until the maybe last 5 minutes of the exams that I noticed that I was answering a completely different questions than what was actually meant for my school.
Yeah.
And because I saw the girl ahead of me turn the page, and I'm thinking, why is she turning the page? I never had to turn a page. And then I looked at it and I thought, wow. Anyways, I walked out of the exam hall. I went and spoke to the teacher. I was crying that day. I was really upset. The school was going to write a letter to say one of my very good students made a mistake because of something that you guys did. But I was really upset and I was disappointed in myself. I remember being very sad and crying so hard I couldn't even pray. I worried a lot first, and then I thought, oh God, maybe God can help me. And then I thought, okay, pray now. But I couldn't pray. I was so saddened by it. And then I wrote my prayers down. I remember I had a red book. I wrote my prayers down, and I started reading the prayers daily. It's the same prayers. It probably doesn't make sense, but I was reading the same prayers, and I just really wanted God to come and help me with that exam, because I needed to move on with the exam. And when the results came out, it was obvious that I didn't do well in that paper.
No.
But I did very well in another paper in the same course, and I got full marks. So with that, my grade, I still got the grade that I was supposed to have. So for me, when I reflect back, that was a time that I think God helped me. Yes, he didn't give me the marks that I thought I would get in that. I scored maybe a D, but I still ended up getting a B, I think, because I did very well in another paper. So when I reflect back, I think God has always been there for me. I just have to look for him in my life, really, because he's always been there helping me throughout my journey.
Yeah, we often think of things as being coincidences, don't we, when good things happen.
Yeah.
Whereas we don't actually think, maybe God was in that.
Yeah.
Right, have there been challenges you faced? Well, yes, that was a challenge, I suppose, wasn't it?
That's the other part of the question.
Yeah, that is, yes. And you dealt with it by praying, so...
Yeah, by writing my prayers down. I couldn't pray, I was so sad to pray, so I wrote it down and I read it every day.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's a good idea, isn't it? Sometimes when we write things down, it becomes more real, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Right, and there's just one more question I'd like to ask you, and it's, I've got, in what ways has being a Christian changed your life? If it has. I hope it has.
I should think for a minute, shouldn't I? It has, and it's just the confidence to go through life. I always feel like there's nothing that I can encounter that I can't deal with. I'm getting emotional, I don't know why, but it's just that friend in my corner where I feel like whatever I'm going through, and I'm not out there looking for challenges, because sometimes you feel like you can deal with anything, and I sometimes I tell myself, yes, I know that God will pull me through anything, and he's not going to put things in my way that I cannot deal with, but I'm not out there looking for things that will break me. But I knew that if there was something out there, he would be with me. And it's just that confidence that when I go through things and I just have him there, when I turn to him, it's always there. And, the life of a mother or whatever, you're constantly dealing with the lives of other people. So it's that foundation for me that and it grounds me when I'm, pulling all this buckets that I pull in life, that I have a solid foundation that I can always turn to. And because life is challenging, I don't think I've experienced a lot of challenges, to be honest. I think some other people have had it harder, but I know that it's challenging, and that makes me even cling to God even more, because I know that there has to be something more than what we see on earth that can pull us through the difficult moments, because life is hard.
Yeah, you're right there, Ronke. Having God in our lives, it gives us that courage to face challenges, doesn't it? And we will come across challenges, and knowing we've got God on our side. Wow.
Who can be against us?
Yes, exactly. What better help can we have than that? Yes. Oh, well, that's a great story, Ronke. I've loved listening to you and talking with you. Thank you for sharing. It was brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Christine.